So, Blackhand Eddard here, he was originally designed to be a weapon swapping character, inspired by the playstyle of Ikaria of Sabbath. We used Astora's Greatsword for parry fishers and also dealing heavy damage to slower ultra great weapons. We used the Pale Pine Resin on the Drake Blood Greatsword. Try saying that any times fast. For poise trades that we could actually win. We also used the Corvian Great Scythe. That is for opening up shields. It's fantastic for getting around. Has innate bleed buildup. Works well with poison as well. But the star of the show was always the dual weapons wielded by the Black Hands. We used Onikiri and Ubadachi for chase downs, as well as Oni Slayer weapon art is great for on-the-fly parry punishes. And Goddard's twin swords have just insane combo potential, and you can swing big wide arcs so that you can deal with multiple opponents at once. But unfortunately, as Eddard moved towards the meta of 125, we ran into a problem. At 125, you're going to run into a lot of hosts and phantoms that have invested way more points into vitality, and now all of a sudden all those nasty poise weapons are just doing us in. Sometimes it felt like we might outplay someone 9 steps out of 10, but because they were able to swing big heavy weapons and we weren't able to stop them, we got put in the dirt about it. But despite all the point downs, Eddard was never one to stay down. So what we did was we swapped some rings, we gave him a few levels of intelligence and faith, we changed the armor. Hello everybody, welcome back to my war, Poise Killer Edition. Fucking commando. Eddard has been reborn as a Japanese knife factory, where all the controls have slid past crazy fast and moved into that episode of I Love Lucy where the chocolate factory goes haywire fast. We're using the synergy of the Pontiff's left and right eye rings. We're using Karthus Beacon and the Curved Wolf Greatsword. This weapon allows us to have one-on-one poise fights, and its weapon art and a jump attack is the coolest fucking thing you've ever seen. Unless you've seen Bobby Drake's Dildos of Ice collection. The running R1 has excellent stagger potential. There's the weapon art into R2. And quick swap back to a fast weapon. Finished it off. All of this works really well together. You don't need all of it for this to work. This is kind of just a exaggerated version, I guess you would say. We're using all of it. Both Pontiff Rings, Wolf Knight, Curved Sword, and Karthus Beacon. We've also incorporated the Oni Slayer Great Bow into the mix as a sniper option for, it's a great bow for dex builds, so that we can remain elusive when that's what the situation calls for. We're still not super excited about running into a gank squad, obviously, even if we are a little better suited for it. We're also playing as a Mound Maker now. This is partly because Ed was driven mad by Poise Warriors, and partly because of my love-hate relationship with other invaders. I've never played as a Vertebro before, but I do dig it. I'm liking it. You get to kill phantoms and just leave like scared hosts all alone in a terrifying world, typically with another invader there with them, which is also kind of nice because it allows me to teach invaders that they're going to have to do some work for themselves and not be brain dead mashed potato people that mindlessly attack anything that's even vaguely human shaped. Invasions being made easier has only opened the floodgates for mindless automaton men who want to make meme videos for the internet. But enough about Reddit. Let's start some invading. This is exactly the sort of thing I'm talking about. We've taken out one phantom. We're going to drop down here and just real quick get rid of the other one. And despite the fact that we've just killed a phantom, this fucking idiot who had the luck to be pulled into the world as a Farron watchdog still attacks me for whatever reason. And I just get to disappear into the night. It's beautiful. So our first real invasion, we find a 2-man sword and board R1 convention in a room full of corpses. We buff with Karthus Beacon, Rotten Pine Resin, and let's get the bitch going. First, we catch a Leo Ring counterpoke with the rollout R1 on the Phantom. Not content to be outdone, though, the host quickly comes in and presses his R1 button. Unfortunately, the build-up from the buff and the rings has me doing turbo damage, and his Shield of Wannabe is pushed aside like his dreams of becoming a beachside cartoonist. Here's a few examples on how to space out opponents and keep a fight in a manageable position against multiple opponents. Beautifully played, because I'm the greatest person that's ever lived. And then here, I roll poorly like a wizard on a reflex save. So we'll take the opportunity to let the party figure out that their fairy tale apple has been poisoned. We'll heal up. And we've switched to a Hunter Charm, so we can bamf them just as soon as we walk in. Now, what we've done here is we've sort of turned the pressure up. You can see all they want to do is just walk at me with their shields up. They can't heal, they're poisoned, freaking the fuck out. We do a little zigzagging and roll through the joint, make it back to the high ground with very minimal effort, and our new invader buddy stops in to say hi. So we let the party greet him, and we get buffed back up. This time we've opted to go with the katanas. We're using the pale pine resin so that we can get through the shields, do a little bit of chip damage, and beating up on shields still gives us all of the bonuses that we get from the rings and all that stuff. This right here was done really well, except I managed my stamina poorly. So after I hit the Oni Slayer, I'm unable to finish the deal. He just gets to drink right in our face. But not all's lost. We are having him burn through his Estus, which is nice. We get hit a few times, so we'll back out. Heal up. Let the red take some pressure. Come back in, finish off Phantom Boy. And the poison actually does land the host, which is nice. So the poor stamina, that's a word. The poor stamina management, we could have offset that by using Power Within or Green Blossom, Grass Shield, Glorantha Ring, anything could have prevented that bullshit. So here's a scene that may look familiar. Big square room and two guys with ultra swords are taking turn chopping this poor invader like an oak tree. We got our buffs, and we're in here trying to take some of the pressure off of him. Fight resets back to neutral. Everybody gets where they want to be. That poor red, man, they're just after his ass. Again, we try and take the pressure off of him, but that nearly gets us fucking killed. So we need a minute. We get a heal before the host gets us with his rapier. We punish the roll in there, getting greedy. And the 2 hits sort of separates the party. Little divide and conquer action going. And then we're on this fucking Phantom, like white on Phantom. See the setup parry coming? Oni Slayer. That'll do it. And we've got some health back. Yeah, nice. Our poor invader bro, he gets done in, but he bought us time to rebuff, so that backstabs for him. Now, we've convinced the host he doesn't know what weapon to use, which is nice. So he's just panicking. He drops himself down the well. Lassie will come for you later, Timmy. I just included this because I just absolutely 100% fucking Shrek this dude, and it was funny. That is 0 to 100. That was just a shit ton of damage. And not a lot of time either. So, if you're seeing a pattern here, and hopefully you are, what we're doing is we're convincing people that are using bigger, heavier weapons to switch to something faster without playing super reactive. Now in this invasion, we're not really going to go up against anybody using Poise at all, but it had a lot of cool, well-played moments in it, so I thought I might as well include it. That's how you R1 like a true pro. That's how you know I'm the greatest. Straight sword's a little faster than the katana, and the Phantom being hesitant there cost his buddy The parry whiff means he's low on stamina, so we know he's going for a heal. So we're free to just eat into him with the L1s. But we're too slow. Don't get to finish him off. And then, worst enemy of all time, fucking tree, thwarts our attack. Puts us in a shitty position. So we use the spin attack to put ourselves back into a more manageable position. Here it is in slow motion, so that you fetid-minded feeble ones can see how marvelous I am. Did you enjoy that? You should have. Fights reset back to neutral again, but much easier to manage. There's nothing behind us like a wall. Go for a gamble here. Undead Hunter Charm in front of us, and then we roll them into it. They take the bait. The host is gassed. We heal up, and then we just give him hell. Beautifully done. Beautifully done. I'm a champion. And this is the main event. We've invaded at Expert Duel, and we got a little bit of history with this guy. Our first encounter was a brief beatdown near the end of the level with a poisoned phantom running scared. Our second was a 3-on-3 war. This is the very end of said war. This went on forever, and it was really fun. I misjudged my partner's desire to get in on this shit, and that was my downfall. I thought the red was keen to go. The blue was just... The watchdog was having none of it. And because of the numbers game, we just got fucked to death. Our third encounter with Expert Duel was just a one-on-one at the bonfire. Managed to finish him off with a scythe before the cops arrived. But this adventure appears to be another group affair. First thing we're going to do is target the biggest, baddest poised weapon in the gang, like the new guy trying to make a name for himself in prison. An added bonus to this tactic here is it puts an end to the double lightning arrow barrage that was harassing our invader friend. But perhaps recognizing us, the host decides to come spoil our little fun. He's buffed his shield with magic shield, cleverly. So we preemptively go for the rotten pine bundle. The host is his buff ran out, and he went back with his other ganker friends to finish off another dark spirit. There you can see a phantom died. Have a brief round of ring around the tree with this guy, and he switched to the crow talons, I believe. Much easier to manage than a poise fight with an ultra great sword. And then the main event can commence. Just taking it to me. Barely managed to eke out one hit that entire little skirmish. Blow 2 Estus. Hid behind the tree so he couldn't get me with the lightning arrow. And then he cleverly uses Snap Freeze so that he can reapply his shield buff, which was smart. My pine bundle runs out right there. So no poison for me. Gets me with a nice roll catch. I hit him a few times on the shield so that maybe I could regain a little bit of health. That allows me to get to full with a little chug. This time we reapply the rotten bundle. Opt for the katanas. Went for the Oni Slayer because I knew he would attempt to parry, but he didn't until there. We've got him poisoned. So at this point, we're looking for attacks in between his, but he knows those cell swords. You see the paired great swords behind me. I'm hoping that my invader buddy is not an idiot, and I am repaid in kind. Thank you, idiot. Oni Slayer! I know. You're thinking, why the hell would you try that? Because it works. You just have to play right, and I didn't play right that time, but it does work. And there's video evidence that it works. There's a lot of counters I'm finding to that L1, and Oni Slayer's one of them. Back to reality. Oop, there goes Rabbit. Look at this. The gank continues in an unforeseen way. The fucking host is having none of that dude's shenanigans. I fucking love it. Even the ganker host was like, no, fuck it, come on. This was cool. It was nice. Oh! Well played. Hit him with a surprise R2 at the end there. We're at neutral. He comes out with an R2, leaves himself wide open. And GG. And here it is, the rarely seen bow to a ganker. Because he won my heart. He won my heart, y'all, by killing that motherfucker with the paired greatswords. Fuck that guy. But we had a bit of a repertoire going, you know? It was nice. It's like the cartoons with the wolf and the dog, and, you know, when they clock out, they're buds, but, you know, when they go to work, they beat each other up. Anyway, that'll do it for us today. I hope you learned something. Most commonly, the tactic for beating a poise build is playing super reactively, but it's just not very fun. So I wanted to see if there was another way to do it, basically. And like I said before, you could tweak this kind of playstyle to suit a bunch of different build types. You don't have to use both rings. You don't have to use the Wolf Greatsword. You don't have to use Karthus Beacon. You can use Power Within. You can use a shit ton of Chloranthy stacking, Grasscrest Shield, plus the ring. But the point is, make your trades not trades, and you want your small fast weapon hitting harder than a small fast weapon typically would. And all of a sudden, Havel here, he ditches the Fugs, and that armor's not doing him any good with a straight sword. Much easier to manage, you know, straight sword versus straight sword. For most people. It just works. Alright guys, I'll see you next time. Later y'all.